Welcome, Gina. Welcome to A Paycheck Away.
Thank you so much. I don't know if it's better. Is it better this way?
Better portrait. If you were right back to where you were.
Right back where we were? Okay. Thank you.
And get right back to where we started from. That was my
Nice to meet you and everybody else who's joined.
that was do you know that song? Oh, it's all right and it's coming home. I gotta get right.
Get right back to the work. Going home.
I love that song. Oh man, I'm putting together a campaign soundtrack. Have you put together a campaign soundtrack?
I'm walking on sunshine. I haven't put together a campaign soundtrack, but I am getting much better at being digitally savvy on these social platforms. I have never needed to be on them until I threw my hat in the ring. And then the next thing you know, I've got to be an expert on everything.
Yep.
And
That's
so,
that's the world now.
yes, it is. And now I'm on Substack. How I got here, not sure, but I'm glad to be here.
That's the story of life. There's your biography title. How I got here, I don't know, but I'm glad to be here.
Definitely.
And we're glad people are joining from wherever you're joining. So feel free to leave a comment of where you're joining us from. You can say your state. You can say, uh, what state are you joining from? Is it a state of within America, or is it a state of anxiety or some other emotional state? Like, share in the chat. That helps the algorithm bring in more people. You can spam that heart button as well, and that'll help bring a paycheck away to other folks. And we can have a really great conversation with Gina Crisler, who is a candidate in the House of Delegates race in Virginia. And that's why this series is called All Eyes on Virginia, because Virginia is one of two states that has elections in just a matter of weeks. New Jersey's the other one, but we don't like to talk about New Jersey. Virginia has a governor, a lieutenant governor, attorney general, and all 100 House of Delegate seats up for the taking. So Gina is one of the brave 27, as I like to call them, because many months ago, Gina, when did you make the decision to run?
Well, I came under the purview of the candidate selection committee of Rockingham County in maybe late April, early May. And they asked me if I ever thought about running for office, which the thought had never occurred to me. I am a practicing physician. I'm an internal medicine doctor. I work as a hospitalist.
Okay. So that was this year.
That was this May.
Oh, wow.
April.
Okay. So there was an entirely different America back then. I mean, even though it was post inauguration, it was still very different from what we saw post Kirk killing. Uh, and so that is why I like to call the 27 who are running in the deepest red parts of Virginia the brave 27, because following that assassination, people got radicalized, and as a result, it's no longer the same thing that we're seeing, that we used to see, that we used to like. It's a completely different society now. So these 27 candidates are really putting their everything on the line. They're very publicly exposed. It's a very, very dangerous time. You can say that. So just want to say thank you. You know, this is not something you signed up for. It wasn't supposed to be like this, but here we are. I don't know how we got here, but I'm glad to be here.
True.
there's your there's your story. There's your book, right?
Yeah, as you were saying, there's 100 candidates, and we have a Democratic candidate in every single election. I was number 99 to sign up, and and yes, I think the most nervous though I ever felt was after Melissa Holtman was killed in her home, and that was a little bit unnerving because that's the same office I'm running for.
That
I
was
have
around the same time that you.
I think it was like a couple of weeks after I threw my hat in the ring. I didn't have to get a petition. I only had to put my name in, that call the caucus, and caucus is canceled, and no one else came in to challenge, and I was the Democratic candidate. And I'm, it's been an exciting and wild ride.
So when you're the only candidate, you don't need to do petitions?
You don't, you do not have to do, well, if you come in after the date where the petitions are due, which was sometime in April, and then if if someone else wants to join the race, they call a caucus and have a vote. But if no one else, they cancel the caucus and they nominated
Hmm?
me. They
Okay.
put through their support behind me, and I've been running ever since. Oh, and it's been a run. I have been working at it nonstop. It's like a full-time job. I've been on more Zooms than I've ever thought possible.
Yeah. So, Dr. Chrysler, tell us why are you running?
Why am I running? Well, this is interesting. I was so aggravated when I saw who was gaining traction again and headed into the Oval Office that I ran down to the Democratic office of Rockingham County and I said, put me to work. And I ended up doing early election education. We set out a huge booth in front of the Rockingham County office building where you could do early voting. And we had all kinds of information. We had sample ballots and we had pamphlets and every candidate that was running. And so I was staffing that booth mostly every day for about 2 months. And then I remained active with the Democratic Committee. I became the district chair. I went on a tennis game with the chair of volunteers. And the next thing you know, she goes, have you ever thought about running for office? And I came back and I thought, if not me, then who? And I tried to shake the bushes and find another candidate. I joined the Find the Candidate committee and it was me. So I said, yep, and I'm all in. The doctor is in. I am
The
all
doctors. I love it. I love it.
in.
Wow. I have not heard a reference to playing tennis ever since pickleball came out and gained popularity. So way to go playing
I
uh
wouldn't call it playing. I think we got a volley of 4 going.
oh, tell us a little bit about your district. Like where is it in Virginia?
My district is in the Shenandoah Valley and in the Highlands. I am District 35, and it is pretty much the most gerrymandered district you could ever imagine. I am cut out of every single little place where you might have any areas of blue, except this beautiful little town I live in called Port Republic, where we have that little joke going, the only good Republican is a Port Republican. We don't really believe that. I mean, we think some people have been misled. So I am outside of Harrisonburg City. I am outside, and then I come down to the southern part of Rockingham County, the northern part of Augusta County. I am out of the town of Waynesboro. I am out of Stanton. It looks like Staunton, but it's Stanton.
It is. That's a
And
trick. It's
it's
see,
a trick.
that's the thing. That's the thing. There's a lot of tricky city names across the Commonwealth that are designed to trip up people running for office. If you cannot pronounce that city's name, you are automatically disqualified. It's almost like going to, I would say, I don't know, Roanoke and saying, what, go who's?
No, it was Blacksburg, and they said "Go Who's" instead of
Blackbird.
"Go Hokies." And I happen to be a Who, and I used to live in Whoville.
So yeah, like I was in Toano, just over the weekend. And I was like, I'm looking at it. I'm like, how do you pronounce that? Is it Toano? But then I spoke with a local and it's like Toano. I'm like, all right, you gotta, and that's a great
Well,
way to also talk with the locals. But Staunton, you were saying, Stanton.
Stanton.
Stan-
And have you ever been to Luray Caverns?
I have, yeah.
It's not Luray; it is Luray.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, to answer your question, no, I haven't been to Luray Caverns. I've been to Luray Caverns.
Well, thank you. And they're
Yeah.
beautiful, aren't
They
they?
are beautiful. I went with my 6-year-old during his spring break just this year when we finally got to go. Uh,
Oh, well, that's not part. I'm just south of that. That's about 25 miles north of me. I'm on the very northern part of the district, and it goes all the way into Bath, all of Bath County, and all of Highland County.
do you
This
does JMU come in there or no?
JMU has been gerrymandered out of my district. I go right outside it.
Goodness gracious, they did you hard. So you're looking at what, like R plus 34?
Oh, no, that would be a gift.
Oh, that
R 4 plus 47.
Okay. So this is really an interesting time though. Like, so to the viewers who may not be familiar with R plus terminology, that's how many points Trump won by in the previous election, just in November 24. So 47 points. So it's like really red. The but it's like a lot has happened since President Trump has had been elected, inaugurated. Everything costs a lot more, and it doesn't matter if you're a Republican, Independent, or Democrat, everybody's affected. Everybody's impacted. So when you're going along the campaign trail and you're meeting with all different types of folks, is that resonating? Are they realizing what's going on?
There's been some movement, but it really is an identity for those who have sat and been absorbed by Fox News for the last 30, 40 years.
Mm.
So there is some softening around the edges, but it's on specific issues. Everything that I see as being horrific and will be causing great distress to all of my neighbors is not yet appreciated for how severe and how ugly it's going to be. We have, as I was, I am not retired, but I retired from Rockingham Memorial Hospital, which is part of the Centera system. That's the nearby hospital. And I work in a small hospital in Ocean City, Maryland. And yes, I'm originally from Maryland. I've been here 20 years. My mother lived outside of DC, and she had not walked in 20 years. So it got me back and forth to my mother's home to see her like a good daughter should, uh, 4 times a month
Oh, wow.
on my commute. And I still work at that hospital, but I can control my schedule so much better. So I really do have the time to devote to this election.
Okay.
And so the question being is, I had a wonderful chat with my neighbor who is a farmer who has 110 gorgeous acres that the urban sprawl of Harrisonburg is creeping out and is trying to consume. And he's aging out of farming. He's a beef cow, and he's got all kinds of issues that I can see that I think would bring to his attention. His daughter, who's a neighbor, is married to a gentleman who is here um, legally from Colombia,
Okay.
and they have children. And he's not worried about the abductions and kidnappings that we're seeing. We have had 278 kidnappings off our streets here in Harrisonburg, a sanctuary city, and the Rockingham County. We have a very large and diverse and wonderful, culturally diverse population. We're a sanctuary city because this is a very large Mennonite population, and whenever there's been any kind of strife, we bring in refugees and we welcome them. In fact, we're the second largest Kurdish population in the country. And that means we have about 7 or 8 Kurdish restaurants that are absolutely delicious. So we've got a lot, like 1 or 2 of so many restaurants. 55 languages are spoken in our city schools.
I think
Yeah,
that might be the largest amount within the whole Commonwealth, or
I would have to fact check that one, but it could very well be besides Northern Virginia.
right, and uh, it might even compete against Northern Virginia really well. It's also like the most surprising place. Like, oh wow, there's a lot of diversity in this area.
It's wonderful, and we really do support our neighbors. There's a very large and community spirit, but out within, you can see that more in the city lines, but you come out into the county and it's a little bit different. It's not nearly as in your face, this administration or else, but it's still very much there. So other problems that our farmers are facing is, the there's no market for some of the crops. There's always going to be a market for beef cows, but he's not going to continue it. His children don't want it, and he was contemplating a solar farm. of which we were all in favor of. I think that was an excellent idea. And the kibosh has been put on that from the end because the subsidies, the initiative that was jumpstarting companies to come in and put solar farms in has been eradicated by the big bad bill.
Mhm.
Now, I don't take any campaign funds from any PACs. They haven't offered any, so I can't even refuse them. And I know that my opponent is primarily funded by Dominion.
Yikes.
Yeah. And Dominion's pledge to renewable energies has been wiped out too. So they're not nearly as enthusiastic about pursuing newer and cleaner technologies. And since Virginia actually owns 70% of all the data centers in the world.
That's
And
insane.
yeah, I bet you knew that.
That's wild. Oh my
And
God.
so we need to look for renewable energies, clean energies, if we want to continue living in a wonderful state. I was out in Bath County. Now this is funny. And they had a wonderful county fair with a car show, and there was a 2002 yellow as my walls Mustang. I met the owner, and it turns out he had spent his entire career doing the standards for clean air that were adopted by the EPA, and he saw his entire career just be wiped out with the eradication of all the clean air standards. And, that's headed down and right next to West Virginia, which is the coal mining territory. And those jobs have not come back. That was another campaign promise that has been, left lying flat. You can't even resuscitate that. And so there's many issues that could catch people's attention, and it's finally starting to.
Okay.
Maybe.
So I think, there is a huge opportunity. This is a reason why you're running, to move that needle from plus 43 to down. Well, what's your
Okay,
goal?
give me every credit I get. 47.
47, 47, 47. All right.
I
So,
have the third most challenging district.
okay. 47, like, cranking that down, like, there's so much opportunity, so much potential there, and one of the things that's going on with the Brave 27 is there's something called a value pack, with, if you're familiar with, campaign donations, there's a website called Act Blue, and Act Blue has ways to you can either have one person or one candidate you donate to, or have a lot all in one, and so Charles Gaba and Dr. Fergie Jr., put together something
Fergie Reed.
for your eat, put together a value pack of all of these candidates all in one. They're encouraging people donate to these neglected candidates who are flying under the radar when really we need to be investing in these 27 areas. And yes, it will not result in a win in this election, but it moves the needle so that maybe next election, maybe the one after that, maybe a few more cycles, this area will flip. And that's the way you flip districts. You can't just wait around with your thumb up your nostril and think that it's just going to happen miraculously. Like, this is the investment. This is the strategy we do. So if anybody's watching, we can somebody can place that value pack. Sometimes Jonas is here, or maybe Rosie if you have it. Just paste the link in there and donate, and you can donate to all 27 all at once. I put out a blog recently, and I stepped up and I donated $270, $10 per candidate.
I got it, and I thank you.
No worries.
And it helps.
We're all one team, and I saw a candidate who's running for Congress in Southwest Virginia, I think it is, and he donated like $500. So I'm like, all right, the game is on. Like, we're putting our money where our mouth is. So when it comes to these House of Delegate races, it doesn't take a lot of money to make a lot of change. So, like, when people donate and you get an extra $100 or something, like, what can you do with that?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I have been trying to get my political ads on Facebook, and that was a loopity-loop that took better than a month, and with not even a chat bot to even discuss the issues with.
It is impossible
It
to
was
figure that out, especially because they have so many restrictions for political ads.
So what we finally did is we just kept trying until we got a survey that gave us a choice to give us an unhappy face. And the unhappy face got us to a chatbot. The chatbot got us a little further. We tried again, and we got through a few more unhappy faces till we finally got a few ads run. But I got put in Facebook purgatory. I'm
Purgatory, yeah.
limited to spending $50 a day. Which is fine when you're running a grassroots campaign. So, but the Value Pack 27 has actually really helped. It's given me 20% of my budget. My budget is going to be spent on, in certain areas of this, we have really good broadband, but out in Bath County and Highland County, Highland County is the number one least populous at 1,200 and change voters. And Bath County has 6,200 and change voters. And you may know Bath County because that's where Deeds is from,
Yeah. Yeah.
Senator who's now in Albemarle County. Well, and then, but Augusta and Shenandoah are in the valley. And so we have very good. So I'm doing a very strong, focused digital campaign across Facebook, Instagram, even TikTok and YouTube. And I am getting some results. I had 55,000 impressions for my about 12 days of actually being able to place an ad, of which that's about 10,000 people, of which about 500 have checked into my website, JenaChrysler.com. And it doesn't look like it sounds, JenaChrysler.com.
Don't get me started on names and phonetic. Uh, we're in the same boat. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, absolutely. So yeah, go to GinaChrysler.com and donate. There's also one of my recent Substack pieces, might be the most recent one. It's about, the Brave 27. So click on that and you'll learn more on why this is so important, why this is so critical.
So
Uh,
that can I can I speak to that?
yeah,
Fergie Reed Jr., Dr. Fergie Reed Jr., who's an ER doctor in LA. His father, Dr. Fergie Reed Sr. Are you familiar with the story?
I am. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Fergie Reed Sr., who was the first elected African American of government official since Reconstruction, when he came to office as a House of Delegates in 1967. And I got to speak with him. He's 100 years old. And it was fabulous. And what he was telling me, the strategy is get all of your volunteers on the phone, get them on the phone, recruit their 10 people to recruit their 10 people, and then go out and knock on doors. Because people do like to, well, that's gotten a little bit trickier too. They do want to meet the politician if they're interested. But, there's basic signs not to come in when there's like 3 very large dogs that are not restrained. Don't go in. And the signs that says no solicitors, don't do it. And
Yeah. Like that's an interesting thing. Like, no, if somebody says no soliciting, is it really soliciting if you're going up there and talking about your candidacy? Because in my mind, the lawyer in me is like, soliciting is asking for money.
technically it does not fall into the no soliciting, but I think other people might view it otherwise. It's more of a what can we say, a cultural thing. But I
'Cause
have had wonderful
I do live in a neighborhood that has a no solicitation sign, but I've had candidates come through like all the time knocking on my door, and I'm like, I guess that sign doesn't deter them. Wait, actually, it doesn't actually mean you can't walk around and knocking on doors.
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
But
legal.
yeah, but go on.
Uh, and well, on the campaign trail when I'm out canvassing, do you want to know what the 2 wildest things I was given?
I need to know.
One was a zucchini it was so big. And the other was a marriage proposal.
Okay, wait. Okay, let's see. It's always like, what do you want to hear, the good news or the bad news first? I don't know. I don't know which one I want to hear about first. Let's go with the marriage proposal. Tell me about this marriage proposal.
Well, we had a nice chat. He was a veteran, and then he goes, So, do you have a boyfriend? I said, I have a husband. And he's like, do you want another one? I said, you need to get in line.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Did you get his vote?
I hope. I think so. Sometimes people get a little bit, especially if they're in front of their peers. This was a whole group of veterans where there was no politicking allowed, but we were having a nice discussion. And maybe if they see my name often enough. So, and that's name recognition too, because mine has not been out there at all. And it's a very large, it's about 2.5 hours across the district. And I am running against a gentleman who owns a sign company. So I cannot outsign this man.
Wow, that's interesting. That's fascinating. But, like, when it comes to name recognition, like, when you show up at the ballot, it's either the person with a D or the person with a R, right? Or
Especially downstream. If
yeah.
if you don't have any appreciation for how much your downstream vote can actually matter. I mean, the House of Delegates in the state of Virginia is going to have a significant amount of importance if they can maintain a majority. There are getting a constitutional amendment made is maybe some people need to have their memory jogged. First, it has to be approved by the House, approved by the Senate, and then there has to be an election.
Yeah.
And then you have to have a new House and a new Senate and approve it, and then it has to be signed into law by the governor who's willing to do that. So we are at the point where we're having the election, and should we have the House and the Senate and a governor who are all on the same page, there are 3 amendments that we'd like to get on the Constitution. One, that protects reproductive rights for all peoples. And that goes for all the health care that deserves to be had.
Now
And
this
then
is dicey. This is under fire, especially, of course, from Republicans. Why? Like, they're saying that this allows for abortion up until the moment of birth, whereas the current
well, that's ridiculous.
law doesn't. So I was in a town hall with a Republican delegate who was like, I support the current law because it's allowed because it's got, like, guardrails, but I don't support the amendment because it allows abortions until the moment of birth. So what's going on?
That's misinformation. Absolutely. There would be no 9-month abortion. That's called a C-section and a delivery.
Uh-huh.
That's what that is. That's nonsense. And we know that the best way to reduce abortions is to make education available to everyone so you can prevent an unwanted pregnancy, because no one wants to be put in a position where they are forced to make a decision for whatever reason. And I'd like to tell you about why I am not an OBGYN.
Although
My
I want to quickly talk about that, the 9-month abortion thing. Pete Buttigieg had a great response to this, and he said, like, if somebody is in their 9 month of pregnancy, in the 9th month of pregnancy, they've probably already put the crib together. They've painted the nursery. They've picked out clothes. They've gotten a name. And now comes the worst news of their life, that their baby's not viable, that fetus is not viable, and they have to make a decision, or the mother's health is at risk. It's terrible, terrible things that are happening at that point in time where an abortion would have to be necessary. So it's not like somebody who's just like, you know what, forget it, changing their mind, like, I don't want this baby. Like, no, these people were invested, and now they've got the worst news of their life.
Again, that's not an abortion. That is a delivery, and it's a delivery of a non-viable fetus. It's
Very
completely different.
And I'm
So
glad
let me
there's a
tell you.
doctor here. I'm glad there's a doctor here.
Let me tell you what happened. My first day of my first rotation as a 3rd-year medical student, I'm doing OBGYN out in the hinterlands of Florida, Pensacola. And my very first patient is a 12-year-old child brought in by her auntie. We get the child's name, and the auntie disappears into the ether. The 12-year-old has hips this big. There is no way a fetus can pass. There's nothing. And this child has been failed by every single system that is designed to protect her. First of all, the biological father of that child, of the fetus, was her father, who apparently was incarcerated. So this child had gotten no prenatal care, because if she had, if someone had put one ultrasound on her within the first 12 weeks, it was going to be clear that that fetus was not going to be viable. Because even I, as a third-year medical student, have never seen, I haven't seen too many ultrasounds. The heart was so malformed. So now this scared child has to be rushed for an emergent surgery, completely preventable, to deliver a non-viable fetus. And it was that, exactly that. It was a C-section. The fetus did not live and was never going to be, because the heart just couldn't possibly. It was so malformed. And then this child's going to be was sucked up into the systems and that could have been prevented with reasonable reproductive health care. So 98% of Planned Parenthood's budget is spent on education, preventative medicine, and others. It's only less than 2% is spent on abortions for whatever reasons, and that is not government monies. And so this is absolutely ridiculous, what the narrative that's being pushed. There is no such thing as a 9-month abortion, and just call it what it is. It's a delivery of a non-viable fetus.
Very important messaging. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
That is.
You can call me Jena, please.
Oh, yeah, but, maybe I'm hinting that you should call me Dr. Bhatti.
Oh, okay. Tell me.
I'm a juris doctor. I'm a doctor of jurisprudence, but nobody calls me doctor.
Doctor of jurisprudence.
I'm just kidding.
They might expect you to do something on an airplane. That happened to me once, and I was telling my friend who's a pediatrician, and she goes, "Oh my God, what were you wearing?" I said, "Nothing that inspired confidence." Although, patient lives.
In case, well, this is a morbid joke, but in case there wasn't a doctor on board, then they needed a will to be written. I could whip that up real quick.
Yeah, well, both my patients that I had to deal with emergently did very well. So I'm glad to hear that. That's always so funny. So that's why I'm not an OBGYN. I am an internist, and I love my adult patients.
So speaking to healthcare, then, we've got the big brutal bill is cutting healthcare. $150 billion was cut from rural healthcare. How is that impacting your district?
Oh my gosh, we're already seeing it. The hospital just down 15 miles south of me has closed 2 primary care clinics and 1 urgent care. And the urgent care is only 5 miles from my house.
Those three that were closed are in your district.
2 of the 1 urgent care and 1 primary care clinic are in my district, and the other primary care clinic is in Buena Vista. And yes, it looks like it should be said Buena Vista, but it's not. It's Buena Vista. And yes. And so what that means is those patients are going to be redirected to clinics that are 10 to 14 miles away. I Googled, I MapQuested them to see how far they were, to see how much they travel. And they're 10 country miles. So if you get behind a school bus, or you get behind a tractor, or you get behind a 92-year-old whose family has not taken away the car, you have a much longer, it's a delay of care. And delay of care is one of the number one reasons for an acute condition to go south. If you have a delay of care, it just makes it that much harder to have a better outcome, a good outcome. You hear that you have to get to the hospital immediately if you have signs of a stroke. And that's true. Because you go down a stroke pathway. Is it a bleed or is it ischemic, which means is it a blocking of the blood flow? And then there are 2 different kinds of strokes requiring much different care. The ischemic blocking of the blood flow is the one where you can do the clot-busting drug with very good 94% success.
But it has to happen within
6 hours.
Hours.
3 hours is best, 6 hours. And then you have to have a lot of other things that fall into place. Because many times people wake up with a left side facial droop and went to bed normal and they woke up that way. So you have no idea when that when that event happened.
Well,
And
in our district, in our congressional district, we have a panic hospital. And over the past couple decades, they've had to shut down different divisions. And this is a rural hospital. So the first thing to go is
primary care or specialist.
L&D, labor and delivery.
Oh, labor and delivery still exists, but the pediatrics floor on my alma mater is closed. So there's delay of care.
Yeah. So labor and delivery closed for them. And then some years later,
Mhm.
their ICU closed. They're not doing surgeries after 3 p.m. And so
Which hospital is this?
this is called Rappahannock Hospital.
In Tappahannock.
No, this one's Rappahannock Hospital over in Lancaster County.
Lancaster County.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, on the Rappahannock group. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it? I'll have to look up that one. I might have. Is that a Riverside hospital?
No, it's another one.
That's okay.
It might be Bon Secours.
Could be. Oh, yeah, that's out of Norfolk
Yeah,
area.
Bon Secours area. And so they're on their list of being at risk of closing. But I was talking with a lobbyist who represents that area, and she was like, "No, they should be fine." But it's like, all right, but are they going to have to lay off staff, or are they going to close other stuff down? Like, what's going to be the delay of care that results? Because, like, when you have your two facilities closed down in your area, like,
In
what
anticipation.
and like what business is going to invest in that area? They're not going to want to have a place where their employees can't get care, or they can't, have their babies
Good
delivered.
point. Very good point.
Right? Like, so it's literally, it's not just killing us now and starving us now, but it's also killing potential.
Right. It is because if you can prevent things from happening, like if you nip your toenail and you get a little ulcer and you can treat it in that diabetic foot before it becomes a raging foot ulcer and you end up with a below the knee amputation. That's a very expensive way to go. You can heal those wounds if you have access to primary care because you don't seek it if it's so difficult, if it's not accessible, if there's a delay because you're doing more for less. And so these areas, the Augusta Medical Center, which is under the umbrella that has these three clinics and urgent care that have been closed, they have introduced a wonderful mobile care unit where they go. They have 2 exam rooms and a fairly extensive lab. And an EKG machine. They do not have X-ray available yet, although I wouldn't be surprised if that could show up soon. And they go to these small areas 1 day a week with their primary care providers, which can be nurse practitioners or PAs, or if you're lucky, a doctor, and see and take care of things before they become a nightmare. But those are still going to be paid for by Medicaid monies, because what Virginia needs to understand, and I'm sure you can appreciate, is Medicaid pays for the very, very poor. It pays for the elderly. It pays for the children, and it's an insurance. It's not like anyone sees money in their pocket. This is insurance.
Very important.
So, and then Virginia, under the ACA, expanded it from 100%, from poverty level to 138% of poverty level, which for one person went from $16,150 to about $22,000, or for a family of 4 up to about from $26,000 to about $2,000. And so if you don't get these subsidies on the marketplace to be able to have an affordable premium based on that sliding scale, no, everyone will forego insurance and hope they don't have a problem. That's the gamble. Now, what you have to understand is Medicaid monies through the auspices of Cardinal Health are paying for those subsidies. And if the Republicans a couple years ago put in that trigger law, if you lose $1 of federal funding, 90% of the subsidies, which is federal monies through Medicaid by way of Cardinal Health, will dissipate. Just poof. And if we, as the state of Virginia, don't step in to seal up this gaping hole caused by the federal short-sightedness, or actually by working by design, who knows, to do something about this healthcare, it will ultimately cost everyone, because hospital care is the most expensive, and then everyone will pay the bill because it'll result in more denials, bigger bills for the individuals, higher premiums, less coverage. You can see it all.
Coming to a bill near you next year. Everybody's seeing increased costs in their premiums. And if you're not, if your employer's covering it, your employer is going to be facing this. And so how that goes down the line to you and impacts you, it's real. It's real. So that's when I was a national advocate, fighting the big brutal bill as it was going through Congress. Oh my gosh, we were we were trying. We had all the things, all the facts, all the stories, everything except one key component. We did not have industry. Industry did not come to the table to talk to the Republicans or Democrats. And it's because they feared retribution from the Trump administration. So,
Oh, I wonder why.
and it's like, this is tens of billions of dollars that they did not fight for. Like, that's how much more money was at stake for them, how much more profits were at stake for them if they went against the Trump administration. And so anytime you're relying on a corporation to stand up for your rights, don't. Corporations don't have spines. They can't stand. The Constitution is for people, not for companies. So this whole thing, like when Disney Plus or ABC or whoever it was did what they did to Jimmy Kimmel, when Washington Post did what they did to the journalists, when all these things happen to all these folks from these corporations, like, don't be surprised. Like, that's what they do. They just
Welcome to the spineless, the boneless chicken farm.
That's right. But it's people like you, Dr. Chrysler, who have the spines and are standing up and doing what's right for not just democracy, but for the people. You're
And
fighting.
we can afford health care for all, and we should. It should be a right. It should be like housing, food, quality education. Quality education is a constitutionally guaranteed right to all children. And so you have to, another one to be tackled.
Yeah, I mean, really, it all comes down to like I was just talking with somebody from the military today, and he's like, Salam, what I love about your platform is that it's all about national security. And I was like, wow, I never even say the words national security. He's like, no, everything you say is starting from childhood. Like, national security starts at childhood. And I'm like, you know what? That's a really good messaging. And so we're gonna be using that. So like that's the thing. Like I don't really like him, but the House Agriculture Committee chairman on the congressional level, he said it as well that hunger is a national security issue.
It is. And I'm going to give a shout out to the town of Elton, the county of Bath, and the town of Waynesboro in my district. Well, Elton isn't, but they provide 2 free meals for every child, no matter what. You don't have to jump through any bureaucratic hoop. You get your meals, and they even cover holidays. They cobble together, they're not coordinated campaigns, but they cobble together something so that every child can guaranteed a couple of meals. And I heard a new one about the waste that, how people throw away oranges or apples, or they don't. I heard about this one young teenager who said, why don't we get a refrigerator? And if you don't eat something and you haven't opened it, it's perfectly good. Put it in the refrigerator in case someone else needs a snack. I'm like, well, there's $1,000 investment. Just plug it in.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
yourself like.
Did it roll out?
Hmm?
Did it happen?
Oh, I know. I just learned about it yesterday as I was scrolling through. It did happen, and it was a very successful program, and it was not in Virginia.
Oh, okay.
So, but I don't know why we couldn't do something like that.
And
I mean, we're the breadbasket of it's wonderful farming land, but that's a whole nother a whole nother issue.
And
What were you gonna say?
in the greater Richmond, well, actually in the Richmond downtown area, I'm in Henrico. In Richmond, there's God, at least a dozen or so fridges known as community fridges. And that they're just out there like in front of stores and people can load them up with food. And people could come by and take what they need and leave what they can. So that's it's a phenomenal concept of mutual aid, where we all truly look out for each other, which is really awesome. And I
Well,
really like that your schools are doing the school meals. I
mhm.
I cannot wait to see the studies in like 10 to 15 to 20 years of how free school meals for all has a hugely beneficial impact on the school to prison pipeline.
Oh, absolutely. You start addressing the social ills. I totally agree with you. You feed the kids do want to learn because they're all eager. And so another, it was so funny. I was on my way to a meeting, a Democratic committee meeting, and I was standing in front of the social services building, and right in front of it was a sign for a food bank. I do not know why we as a society who have government have not decided that ending hunger is not one of the most important things that we need to do. SNAP funds removed. You're talking to what, single moms, 1, 2, 3 kids. They're balancing childcare needs with probably low paying jobs. And then you wipe out some of the supports that are helping the family keep going. It boggles my mind.
Nearly what $200 billion cut from SNAP and the big brutal bill. More strict work requirements. Uh, Changed up the ages, increased the age of the work requirement up to 64. And said that if your kids are in high school, you have to be forced to work as well. So it's bad. It's horrible. It's
It's
horrible.
bad. And we have some really unpaid labor sources that are not recognized and not valued. I mean, the caregivers that we have, it's a very family-oriented community in this area, and they do take care of theirs, but not everybody has that kind of support. In Maryland, they actually as if you are a family member who's a caregiver of an adult child who's disabled, you can earn a living wage, and it's pretty good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's $36 an hour, which
Oh,
is
wow.
72,000 a year.
That's great.
You have to get on a wait list to be eligible for this program because there's cutoffs, but it's a great program. And so there's lots of ways to raise revenue without raising taxes on the working class. I mean, I don't know how many factories you own. I'm a worker bee.
I own nothing.
Me too.
Yeah. I have uh I have a car that's paid off, but my kids have taken over that car, so that's it.
Are they your 6-year-old's driving these days?
You know what? He was I went to the post office and I left him in the car because it was a nice night and I came back and he's sitting in the driver's seat. And I'm like, "All right, what?"
It'll happen. It'll happen. Those kids. I know we my brother almost put a car with me in it, and I remember it through a plate glass window. My mom had left it on, left us in the. We were bouncing around the back seat of that station wagon like nobody's business. I used to write "help me" in the back of that smoke-filled station wagon. There are 4 of us, and it was a survival of the fittest because I have 3 brothers, and we're like biting, pinching, and kicking because the only form of discipline was my dad's hand. He would get at us.
Yep, and then you become your parents. And oh man, we had rented a van or an SUV or something, and it had that family camera, and so you can look on your heads up display, like what's going on in the back. And so I use that strategically to be able to grab a kid's leg when needed. So I mean, the flapping days are over. Now you can strategically get that leg. But Gina, you've been so generous with your time, especially it's like the end of the quarter. Um, and if people who are watching, if I posted Gina's website, visit that website, donate like $5. Like she's not asking for 3,500 or $1,000. $5. That's it. If 25 people gave $5 right now, it's $125.
And it would help because it would help get Facebook. And in trying to get name recognition out there because people do like their yard signs around here, and I cannot outsign a man who owns a sign shop, but I can get a few billboards for a very reasonable price. So if you feel like you want to contribute to that, and I will fight for all Virginians. It's as a physician, I don't. There is no judgment. I will treat every patient as if they're my most important one, and I will treat every resident in District 35 as if it was my most important one. And I can see a lot. I can see all the gaping holes and where we are losing money and all kinds of things.
It's so important. Exactly. Like you are an expert in this space. You know how these things work, but you know how they can work better.
Yes.
We need that mind. We need that
Uh-huh.
mind.
Oh, well, I appreciate all this. This has been amazing and wonderful, and I am so glad to have the opportunity to talk about what's important here, because I really do think this is it. Virginia, we gotta step up to the polls.
And really coming full circle back to all eyes on Virginia. Like Democrats have been overperforming in every single other election across the country. And this is a great opportunity to make that overperformance happen in these deepest red parts as well. Like, let's not just flip the governor, lieutenant governor, and attorney general seats. Let's not just flip a lot of these battleground districts, but let's dial this needle so far blue, like people will be blown away because this is the hope that everybody is looking towards right now. So I remember some years ago, Virginia, then candidate Spanberger flipped David Bratt's seat. People were like blown away. So I want to see like, can Dr. Chrysler get that needle moved way down to the 20s, to the teens, to the single digits? Y'all, if you can donate $5, GinaChrysler.com, get it done. Let's make it happen. We only have a few weeks left.
So I have been marching in all the parades, and I'm just handing out my palm cards. Dr. Chrysler, District 35, Dr. Chrysler, District 35. And all of a sudden I handed it to this woman she looks at me, she goes, she took care of Grammy. And they go, oh, that's Dr. Chrysler. And you heard the ripple run through the crowd.
There was survey done earlier this year that said that when there's three different types of messengers. One was some sort of content creator, one was a politician, one was a doctor. And of the three, who was perceived to be the most trustworthy was the doctor. So people don't even want to hear from the politician. They don't want to hear from like a content creator. They want to hear from doctors. So if you put out more short videos or something, you got your scrubs, you got your stethoscope, bro, that's it. It's a
Oh yeah, we got it right here, that little white coat designed to spark fear and all.
That's your cape.
That's my cake. Well, thank you so much for inviting me here. And hit my website, send me a message. I am happy to answer it. And I would love to learn about any other issues that are concerning my neighbors.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Gina, and I asked every candidate this question: what is your favorite movie?
It's a Wonderful Life.
Hey, all right. All
Every
right.
year.
Murder. Draft your old house.
Why do we have to have all these children? Wait for what? To have 2 bedrooms and a bath? Well, it makes them better citizens. They do most of the living and dying in this town. Why? Was it too much to ask to live and die in a couple of decent rooms and a bath?
It is a classic, and for all the right reasons, and as are you. So, Gina, thank you so much
Thank you.
for your time, and we're looking forward to following the campaign and seeing how we can be helpful.
All right, Chrysler for Virginia.
Let's go. Bye, y'all. Thanks for tuning in.